Hey traders, Keel here. Welcome to another episode of The Trading Edge. Got a question from one of the new traders that joined us and said, hey, what is the trading edge? Should I be watching them? And well, the second answer is obvious. Yes, you should be watching them. We take the time to put these things out. So hopefully you're gaining valuable information from them. But the trading edge video is a combination of a few things. Me and Jason Greystone kind of do them a little bit differently. It's not necessarily a training lesson as per the course. So it's not a constructed training lesson, but it is a live example of how we use what we teach you in the course content in the real life market. So for example, in a lot of Jason Greystone's videos, he'll show you trading opportunities, but he'll also walk you through some of the trading opportunities that he took earlier in the day. So he kind of looks at, hey, this is the trade that I took. This is the why, this is the where, and relates that back to what we taught you in the course. I do the same thing. I tend to look at maybe longer term trading opportunities, so trading ideas, and once again, walk you through, hey, this is what I'm looking at, this is why I'm looking at it, this is why it's on my radar. So it's more of like a practical application. It's what we do every day in the live room, essentially. But we know that everyone can't join us in the live trading room. So this is something for those traders that aren't able to actively trade the markets live with us. So we are sharing ideas. It's not a signal service. I'm glad I didn't see that in your email, but it is kind of just like a daily reinforcement. I'm sure I have more questions to answer later, but we'll start with that since that makes for a good introduction. So we're going to get into the charts today. I want to talk a little bit about what made the markets move this morning. I had a heck of a jinx this morning. We were hanging out on the chat, the main chat here yesterday, and me and a few traders were talking about a trading opportunity on the pound yen. We're like, oh, pound yen, pullback trade, coming towards resistance, looking for this. And I ended up didn't get involved, thankfully, in hindsight, but I didn't get involved because the signal didn't occur until about midnight, and I wasn't waking up midnight to chase that trade. But I reshared that idea this morning, and of course, as soon as I hit that send button on social media, guess what happened? Boom, the markets do the exact opposite. So if you're wondering why the markets moved this morning, it's because I shared a trading idea on social media, and the curse, the jinx of being a trading coach is that whenever you share an idea, the market does the exact opposite. Just kidding, of course, although there probably is some truth to that. But what happened this morning is there was, I still didn't research it, but what's the that it probably wasn't as big of a deal as they thought it was. But that movement does give us some pretty cool opportunities on the chart here. And one I want to talk about first is going to be on the euro dollar. Now, euro dollar, this is a pair that I talked about in my last trading edge video. And we're looking at a situation like this, right? Price had come down. We had put in a retracement, we put in a new structure low down here, and then we rallied back up to this level. And I talked about how I thought this was a good shorting opportunity up here, although I didn't think the market had a lot of room for expansion. And well, lo and behold, market came down exactly to that level that I said would be your first danger zone, stopped on a dime, reversed, and now we put in a higher high, higher close, right? It's funny how that happens, right? As if someone may have taken this opportunity many times in the past and might have been burnt and lost a lot of money and eventually might have made the decision to learn from it and maybe not take that opportunity in the future. This guy, right? Learn from your mistakes, and hopefully I can give you that information so you don't have to struggle with them as well. But we've now seen a break and close above that, which kind of reshifts our focus, right? So bigger picture here on the daily. We're in consolidation, right? We have a little false little breakout right here, but we ran into previous structure below. So basically we have a zone of support down here. We've got a zone of resistance up here, and we're kind of just bouncing around between the two. So there's no true directional movement at this level, but if we're going to continue higher, right, we're at a good little break point right here. You can see this indecision candle on the daily, this doji candle. But if we're going to continue higher, especially past this level, the next place that we are likely to continue is going to be that higher resistance zone, right? Again, not a full-blown conclusion, not as strong as a prediction as if we were in a pretty solid trend, but support and resistance tend to act like magnets. So it goes to one, right? It's sucked towards one, then it bounces off and it spits down towards the other one. So going back down to the 4-hour chart, if you're looking for a trading opportunity, here's what I would look for. Again, we have an area for targets, right? Up in this previous level of resistance, let's call it $1.25, right? 125 even, nice psychological number. So we know exactly how far we can shoot as far as targets go. The question is, how is the price likely to get there? And there's two things that it can do. First, we can put in a flag pattern, which we may be putting in a high and tight flag. If you remember in the course content, we talked about the high and tight flag pattern, right? One of the most powerful pattern formations out there. This is a breakout pattern. Not very often do you see it, but when you do see it, it works pretty well. So we could put in a high and tight flag here and break out to the upside, or we can put in another classic pullback trade where we pull back into previous structure lows right here. This would be the zone that I would pay attention to. If I can find my zone tool right there. If you guys are looking at the VSR, or not the VSR, the VS1 indicator, on your Ninja Trader, you'll probably have a nice little support zone here. Let's actually just do that. Let me just, I'm on my trading view charts right now because my Ninja Trader charts are all marked up for my personal analysis. But let's look at this. Let's just do a little experiment. Let's see if the VS1 is seeing what I am seeing. If I can find my deal here. All right. So here's the zone we're looking at. Let's take my VS1. I believe I have it set to the higher time frame, so I gotta adjust that a little bit. VS1 is our visual structure indicator for you guys that are new. It's part of our software. You guys know you get all the software for free with your membership. So now you have Enigma, you've got the VS1, and Anthony has been working on something else called, he's been raving about it. I missed the meeting this morning because I was doing analysis, but he's got a cryptographer coming out, which can't really spill the beans on it yet, but it's a pretty decent looking tool. But anyway, back to the charts. If I find out where I put it, where did I put you? There you go. Let's do it to a 60-minute and let's see what happens here. Could be wrong, but let's give it a look. Right, so 60-minute, you see looking left, right inside this zone, right? You can see this red VS1 indicator, which previously notates a level of structure resistance. We know that once structure resistance is broken, it then turns to what? Previous structure support, right? I call that the little structure swap, and boom, right in that level is going to be a decent level for you to look for a buying opportunity. I'm just curious what the 15 would give us right now. I haven't customized these to my likings yet, but you can see, yeah, right inside this level on the 15. You can see previous structure resistance turn to support, another mini level support level down here as well. So that's certainly a level that we can look for buying opportunities to trade it more like a pullback trade. So two opportunities on euro dollar here. High and tight flag breakout. You can trade that in three different ways. You can either trade in anticipation of the breakout. You can trade during the breakout. You can trade after the breakout and retest, or wait for the pullback down into this zone between 123.62s and 123.30s, essentially 123.30s, 123.60s, and look for that pullback opportunity here. Let's go to our next pair. Let's take a look at dollar Canada. All right, dollar Canada. This is interesting. This is a good example of shifting the mindset, not being so stubborn and stuck in your mindset. All last week, right, we were paying attention to our previous level of structure right here, saying that it would be a good CTS, combined technical score type trade if we got up there. Price action did get to that level of resistance, and then we broke and closed above. So now, instead of being stubborn and still saying, Akil, I have to sell because my pride and my ego won't allow me to say, oh, my prediction was wrong. Let's move on to the next opportunity. Instead of making that mistake, it's time to shift mindset. And let's go back to our process, right? IPDE, identify, predict, decide, execute, and we start all over again and look for our next trading opportunity. So we identified a higher high, higher close. We predict that the market is more likely to go continue bullish than bearish. We don't have a true bullish trend. Keep that in mind. This is just the rotation, but we can still make those same predictions. And then we go down to the lower time frame and figure out how can we get involved. And that, my friend, is where it gets interesting.